Hey everybody, Roman Versus with the Squash Fest podcast and my co-host.
The light-skinned and very disappointed the boy Harm.
And welcome to this special Wrestlemania episode. We'll be covering both nights in one episode, so prepare because this is gonna be a long one. Is it though? I don't know. We'll we'll run through it, I guess, and talk as much as we need to on. I'm certain that certain episodes are gonna get more than others. Uh, Matches, sorry, because some of them were just such a drag that it needs not have a long drawn out conversation.
So, I was thinking about this earlier.
Okay.
Were you watching wrestling before the pandemic when WrestleMania was 7.5 hours long?
No.
When they went to 2 days because of the pandemic and kept the 2 day WrestleManias, I was all for it.
Mm-hmm.
As we're getting older,
Okay.
WWE
Okay.
hit us with 11 hours of wrestling between Saturday and Sunday. They hit us with, if you're like me and you watch Stand and Deliver, they hit us with 3 hours of Stand and Deliver, 4 hours on Saturday night, 4 hours on Sunday night, and if we're gonna be for real, SmackDown and Raw with 3 hours each. It's coming up. So 17 hours of wrestling in 4 days. I don't know if I can do this again. like, like, I went to work this morning. And fans, I went to work this morning and I was asleep packing out yogurt. Like I had to take a nap on my break in my car to finish my shift.
Damn.
All right, it was a good 2 days. Not the worst WrestleMania ever, but I think with the level of expectations I had with certain matches, I'm very disappointed with with how it ended up.
I feel like it was better than good. It wasn't great, but it was better than good. Minus maybe 3 or 4 matches. But 3 or 4 matches out of 2 nights is pretty good. We'll go through the
Okay.
matches, but overall, it's like 3 or 4 matches. And
Night one felt like night one. We even though we got the results we wanted for the most part,
mm-hmm.
night one felt like a glorified television show.
Okay.
It didn't feel like a WrestleMania.
Okay. But that's
But we'll go.
I feel like most of that was booking. It wasn't
I think
necessarily the matches.
we'll go through it and we'll discuss
Okay.
some of the matches on night one and what I mean because night two had the better matches.
Yes.
Night one just yeah. All right, so WrestleMania kicks off. Triple H already standing in the ring, welcoming everybody to WrestleMania. 61,000, whatever fabricated number they came up with for this show. Because when you're counting fans in the arena, you're counting every turnstile turn,
mm-hmm.
even if it was like a worker. So what people do is they add in the peak. It's not paid attendance. It's just 61,000 total people in the stadium, even if a lot of them are workers and security guards.
Hey, are they watching the show? Yes, so they
Not
count.
all of them.
Yes, they are.
Security guards are looking out towards the crowd sometimes to make sure no one jumps. They're not watching the show.
Or they're watching the side of them.
All right.
Trust
Well,
trust me when I say most of these guys are not just watching the crowd. They're definitely watching the
all right. Well, we get Triple H cutting promo. Welcome to WrestleMania. All this stuff, and we got a really good intro package for WrestleMania
mm-hmm.
and opening match.
Mm-hmm.
Jey Uso
Mm-hmm.
versus Gunther.
Which
And
I brought up the fact that again, if you're not last, you want to be first. It
absolutely,
was a great way. It was a great way to start off the night.
yeah. And when you look over the course of the show and how they booked the remainder of that show, you definitely wanted him as far away from the main event because of how the main event played out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want Jay Uso's moment to be swallowed up being like the semi-main event.
Yep.
So yeah, you want him as far away from that Rollins turn as possible. Um, but it was a really fun match. Jey Uso took 17 minutes to get into the ring. He comes out from the he comes out to walking through the crowd,
Yep.
and again, 61,000 people in a football stadium. It took him about 10 minutes to get into the ring.
Yep.
Really nice blue and gold gear. Um, really fun match. Hits all the Jey Uso spots. They gave Gunther a lot of offense, which I really enjoyed.
Yep.
They gave him a lot of offense. I made the point during the match. Jey Uso's chest by the end of it was blistered and bloodied, but you couldn't really see it because of the tattoos. They were covered up, but his chest was getting swelled up. Gunther got a lot of offense. He looked really good. Um, this was the first questionable booking decision at the end of the night. Not that Jay wins,
Mm-hmm.
because we knew Jay was going to win. Jay was going to win the championship. We were going to get 61,000 people yeeting in that stadium. He's 2009 Jeff Hardy. He's that over right now.
Mm-hmm.
With how the feud has gone the last 3 weeks, when Jay's supposed to be in this more serious character and watching his brother get choked out in front of him, to have your world heavyweight champion tap out to a sleeper hold right away. Not didn't fight.
So that was
Yeah,
my issue. I didn't have an issue with the fact that he got choked out. It's the fact that he tapped out, and it's the fact that he tapped out almost immediately when the hold was
yeah,
put on in the first place. There was like no struggle. It was
yeah,
like, oh my god, he just put me in a sleeper hold. Okay, I give up then. Like what?
yeah,
He should have he should have knocked him out from the sleeper hold. He should have never
hmm,
tapped and just completely just gotten knocked out, put to sleep. I would have much rather that. It would have looked way better on Gunther, and then I can accept the loss because he
yeah,
went out like a champion. He went out the way you would expect Gunther to go out. Not, I don't know what that was. That's the
yeah,
only issue I had with it. I'm cool with the choke because of the fact that Gunther kept putting him, his brother, everybody and their mother
yeah,
in a choke. So I thought the choke was very fitting. It's again the time in which he took to tap out. It's like
yeah.
what are we doing here?
It was immediate, and again, he's champion, so he needed to show a champion's resolve. Like I'm supposed to be the ring general. I'm supposed to be this guy who's the mat is sacred. Why am I giving in so quickly?
Yep.
um People like, I know I'm on Twitter, but people have showed, I've seen other clips of when he lost to Dragunov, and it was the same thing. When Dragunov put him in a submission in NXT UK for the title, he tapped out right away, and I'm just like, why is this a thing with Gunther? Why does he just tap to submissions like immediately? It doesn't make any sense. He's for the most part, he's bigger than everybody he faces, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you should be, especially a sleeper hold, you should be able to use your weight and your body to, you know, break it up, get to a corner, try to get to a rope, like
And you can't
but
tell me
no,
that he can't reverse by like literally just rolling over and picking the person up and then slamming them on their back. Like he can
yeah,
do that. He has the body and the strength to lift people up even if he's getting choked. I don't understand that. He better go into his bag and get some training and get this to because this is a legitimate super weakness for him. This is his
yeah,
Achilles heel essentially. A choke is his
yeah,
Achilles heel. That's crazy.
yeah,
And if
and
I'm any other wrestler in kayfabe, I'm taking notes. If I have to go up against Gunther, I'm going for a chokehold.
oh man, it's the ending just ruined what was a really great match with a lot of really good false finishes. Like Gunther hit everything, like
Yep.
at Jay to try to finish him off. He hit him with power bombs. He hit him with, well, uh, as Michael Cole would say, dinosaur drop kicks. I don't know why it's called a dinosaur drop kick. Uh, Clotheslines, big boots. Like he hit him with everything. The Gunther splash off the top rope, and Jay just wouldn't stay down. And again, this is just the booking to have him tap at the end just didn't. It didn't sit right with me. But Jay wins. He's a new world heavyweight champion. Awesome for him. Fourth member of his family to win a world championship. As and in typical Jey Uso fashion, he showed up drunk to the press conference. Like this man, like, oh god, he's hilarious. He's he's so funny outside of the wrestling ring. But
Hmm.
it's just, yeah, we'll see what we get with Jay tonight. Especially we'll talk about when we get to night two. We'll talk about how the Intercontinental Championship match finished and what we think is next for Jay Uso and Braun Breaker slash Penta slash the guys who did not come out victorious in that match. So we'll talk about that a little bit. So we get that, and then our second match of the evening, and this was really the first match that I was maybe a little disappointed in, and it was New Day and the War Raiders. Um, Not that both these teams aren't good, not that the match wasn't good, but we've talked about how the tag division needs to be spotlighted more, and they gave them the WrestleMania match,
Hmm.
and at least one of the tag teams came out and had really nice gear. Because I'm not sure what that Timu 3D printed Clash of Clans gear the War Raiders had on was,
That was
but
bad. That was bad. It
it
looked
was
like something I could have
horrendous.
made with the kids as a project for
Yeah,
elementary school. It was very bad.
it was horrendous.
But to your point, this was one of the matches that could have been a SmackDown match.
Yeah,
That
and they're a Raw tag
whatever could have been a
team.
Raw tag team match. The point is, it wasn't necessarily the match itself was not worthy of a WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so we get to the story of New Day going for their 12th tag team championship and how this would solidify them as the greatest tag team of all time. Wade Barrett and Pat McAfee kept hammering that point that they need another championship. It's been a couple years since they've been champions, and in order to be considered the GOAT tag team, they need to win. Um, Fun. It was fun enough match,
Hmm.
but like I said, it could have been on Raw. There was nothing special. You got Hanson. I'm sorry, not Hanson. Ibar going crazy because he's a big guy who could flip. Eric Rowe is just super strong. Xavier is an amazing wrestler. He always does such great work in the ring.
Underrated.
Um, Underrated, absolutely. Never won a singles championship in
Never.
WWE. King of the Ring was the closest he ever got. Um, They're all obviously gonna go into Hall of Fame as a tag team, but Xavier Woods has always been an underrated performer. Um, Essentially, the New Day get the win, and New Day are the new Raw Tag Team Champions. I don't know if they're called the Raw Tag Team Champions anymore. Don't. I just know they're the World Tag Team Champions and something else. The New Day are the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Um, they cheat to get the win.
Hmm.
So the finish is I believe it's Ivar and Xavier jostling for position on the top rope. Xavier hits him with a superplex or hits him with something, and they get it down, and he goes for the pinfall, and Kofi holds down Ivar's leg so that way he can't kick out for the 3 count. Um, Solidifying them as heels. They'll do whatever they need to do to win. They get the three. They get the three, and they run up the ramp like
That's the part
scared
that I
cats.
love. That's the part that I love. Like they knew they essentially stole the
Mhm.
titles from the War Raiders, and then they finished it off by running up the ramp, trying to get out of there as fast as possible.
Absolutely.
I thought that was very good in character work.
I mean, it's very old school for the heels for heels to do that, right? They're not going to be the heels who are. You're gonna have to keep him a little quieter. Okay, they're not going to be the heels that are going to go ahead and cheat and well, they'll cheat, but they're not going to be dominant heels where they come down and beat everybody down. They're going to be heels who try to be smarter than everybody else to try to get their wins. And this was a smart play by the New Day. Everything they did seemed like what a tag team from 1985 or 1990 would do to get a win. Um, really great. And I said they needed this. They needed this because you can now tell so many stories with New Day as champion. You can War Raiders come back. You can have them feud with the LWO. I know no one wants to see that again, but if you're going to make Joaquin and Cruz del Toro an actual tag team and make them matter, you can start elevating that tag division. You can bring up the draft is coming up. You can move Pretty Deadly over. You can move Austin Theory and Grayson Waller over. You can bring up Axiom and Nathan Frazier, who just lost their tag titles on NXT, right? So there's guys who can come up and now feud with the New Day and put on some really great matches. So we're not getting the same things over and over again. All right. So then we get in what I think was a really great match. This actually was one of my surprising matches of the whole weekend, even if the person who I wanted to win did not win. And that's Jade Cargill and Naomi. Jade, as much as I have said for years when she was in AEW, she's not a good in ring wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because she was not really getting reps in AEW because they didn't do house shows. She did some stuff in this match that super surprised me. She the spot where Naomi comes off the second rope and almost tries to hit her with a shoulder block, and Jade catches her for a suplex and just to muscle her up. Uh, this was, in my opinion, Jade Cargill's best singles match of her entire career, either company.
So
She was,
what was dope was that we came up with a drinking game for
oh yeah, God,
we came up with a drinking game for most of these matches, and because the boy Harm always has to call it out that Jade always botches in her matches, we decided to call it and make it a thing that for every botch Jade did, we would take a sip of our drink or a shot or whatever we had on hand, and not one botch.
no.
No.
Then you said at the end, if Jade doesn't botch, you want me to take two shots back to back.
Yes, I said if yeah, I said by the end of the match, if she doesn't botch, then you have to take two straight back to back. And you were like, nope. And then you did it anyway.
I
Which I think kind of solidified you for the rest of the night.
that's where I started going downhill. I was like, "Yep, this is
Mistakes were made.
yeah." But really great match.
Hmm.
Jade and Naomi. Naomi's a vet, man. They put on a really good show. Very athletic. Uh, Naomi. There was times where, and I know why. If you're really paying attention, you can see Jade talking through the match,
Hmm.
like she's talking to Naomi
Yeah.
to try to get to the next spot. So
Yep.
those are things that if you're a hardcore wrestling fan, you see. But other than that, like they did a really good match. I wanted Naomi to win. I thought Naomi needed this one more. I think it would have solidified her as a heel.
We both felt the
But
same way. That was actually one
yeah,
of our predictions.
yeah,
So that's what I'm doing as we're going through the matches. I'm writing them down because I can't remember. I'm almost positive we're either tied or I have one match up on you. So I'm keeping track as we go along as to who had what. So this was
yes,
actually one of the matches that we got wrong.
yes. We both picked Naomi. Uh, it would have done more for Naomi to get this win.
Hmm.
Um, her character needed it. I understand you're making you're establishing Jade as a superstar in this company.
Hmm.
She looks like $1 million. She's an average in ring worker at this point, and she's only going to get better.
Hmm.
Um, but she's going to be a star. Like I will say, she's going to be a star here. The present, and they have her presentation down. They've always had her presentation down. My question is, and I, with what do you do with Naomi now that she gets a loss here?
I don't know because I
She's
kind of feel like, and they even touched on it last night. He made the point, well, now the feud is over. Why is
yeah.
the feud over? I get it. She got her lick back, but that's not enough. This is supposed to be a beatdown. This was a match.
Mm.
They actually
Mm-hmm.
had a match. This wasn't
Mm-hmm.
for me. Somebody jumps me in the parking lot, takes me out for months at a time. It's not over with me winning one match. You understand?
Yeah.
Like that didn't make any sense to me. So it's either the feud continues or I don't know what you do with Naomi at this point. I don't even know what you do with Jade at this point. Unless you're going to put
Yeah.
Jade into the main event scene. But again, one match where she didn't have a single botch does not equate to she's ready.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
not even the one that always be saying that. You're the one that's always advocating the fact that she still needs time. She's still green. I always go against that, but realistically, I still don't feel that she's ready just because she had one really good, just because she had her best match doesn't negate all the months where she was messing up here and there.
yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
So I don't
yeah.
know.
I mean, just to fast forward to night two, EO gets the win, right? So if you do EO Jade, I can see that match being really good, but babyface, and you don't want either of those two women taking a loss, right?
Yeah.
So you can't elevate her into the event scene. You can't really elevate her into the Intercontinental Championship scene because you got the other one now holding two belts. Like, right? So I don't know what you do with her. I know Naomi. The logical transition is to now go after Bianca.
Yep. And
That's the
Bianca's
logical transition for her.
technically Bianca has nothing to do now that she lost the belt.
Yeah. So
Unless you have her in characters say how now she deserves her one on one because Rio was never supposed to be there, which would still be stupid. Um,
whatever.
the only thing I can think for Jade is Charlotte, but I would rather see that if one of them had the belt.
Yeah.
But that's a match that people would want to see
At a
regardless.
WrestleMania.
Like
And,
that's something that you can have happen without a belt
yeah.
being part of the equation. So I don't know. It
Okay.
might. It's probably still too early for it, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah. All right. So we got that. And so this was my favorite part of night one, not including the main event, was Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. And because I love Jacob Fatu.
Yep.
I've always thought he was, MLW. I've been telling you guys for years, this kid's gonna be a star when he makes the jump to one of these companies. And he's proving it. He's
Mm-hmm.
proving he's going to be a main event player for this company. But here's my thing. This is one of the matches I felt like could have main evented a SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a special match.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's because LA Knight in ring is a little boring as a worker.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't do anything that like
It makes perfect
the
sense. I know what you're
the
talking
one
about. Yeah.
spot that was great was Jacob Fatu moonsaulting into the BFT
Mm-hmm.
when LA Knight caught him hit with the BFT. Which, by the way, when he kicked out of that, I was like, whoa. But that was the one really big spot in the match. I mean, but just goes to show you that this guy has been in the company for less than a year,
Yeah.
and he got a prominent spot at Mania for a mid card championship, and they trust him enough to get that title.
Yeah.
He's a stud. He's gonna be he's Umaga levels of heel where he's a little bit crazy. He's Rikishi Yokozuna levels of athleticism for his size.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's got what aura.
Okay.
He knows his character.
Mm-hmm.
He knows he like everything. I love him. I think he's gonna next year at Mania. If he's not fighting for a world title next year at Mania, they failed something. Because him, if Cody wins it back next sometime this year, you can do Cody and oh my god, Cody and Jacob Fatu next year.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a really great WrestleMania match. You can do Jacob Fatu, and if Braun Breaker wins, you can do that. You could there's so many
Hey,
things
hey,
I'm
hey!
seeing
You're
for
getting
him.
ahead of yourself. Jey Uso will still have the title by then. Stop it.
No, no. Jey Uso is going to have this title until probably SummerSlam or Survivor
You
Series.
ain't have to say it like that. You're just like, no.
So that title that Jey Uso now has, that's the title that they're going to flip on people.
100%, 100%.
The undisputed championship, Roman held it for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Cody held it for a year, WrestleMania to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the long reign championship.
Mm-hmm.
The world heavyweight title,
Well, not right now.
not right now because you
Because
have
Cena
on
has it,
Cena.
so Cena's not going to hold it for that long, and then the
No,
next person will probably have it for longer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, no, I can see Jay holding that title till November. That gives him a nice 6 or 7 month reign, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, this was a really great match. Jacob Fatu, new United States champion, um, bucking the trend of what we said is like, don't touch the title belt.
Mm-hmm.
Touch the title belt. He
He
got the
licked
win.
it. He
He
licked
licked
it.
the title belt. He licked it again on Saturday night. Like this man is a little bit crazy. He's a little bit out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
My
and he
only
learned some things while being in the clink.
my only issue now is what are they going to do with LA Knight, because with so many people now getting ready to debut, and then we're also going to have some NXT call ups. Without that belt, I don't know what he is or what you
Yeah.
do with him. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he's older. He's 43 years old, right? He's not. It is not that he 43 is old, but he's older than a lot of these guys. Who knows what you do with him? I don't want to see him in a tag team. I don't want to
No.
see him. I mean, I don't know if they've done it, but a Carmelo Hayes feud could be good.
Okay.
Because Carmelo won the championship. I'm not sure. That's a question for Friday night on SmackDown. What do we do? Because he is super over as a talent, but he didn't. His United States Championship reign just felt hollow, if in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I know we hate him, but Logan Paul held that United States Championship and kind of elevated it because he took it everywhere with him. We hate his guts, but he was doing stuff with it. LA Knight just like
I won't
his
say that.
feuds. I know you won't say that, but that doesn't make it any less true.
Okay.
So when LA Knight's feuds against Shinsuke, and
Hmm.
it it just didn't feel like they ever truly. And I made this comment to somebody when we were watching: is just because you're a champion doesn't mean you're getting pushed.
Yeah.
You can be a champion
Hmm.
and they still don't want to do anything with you, i.e., Dolph Ziggler.
Hmm.
Dolph Ziggler was a two-time world heavyweight champion, and they never had long-term plans for him.
Hmm. The plan was to
I,
transition.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
which
100%. That's kind of what it felt like with LA Knight. It felt like he was just a placeholder until they can build someone else up to take the belt off him, which is what they did with Jacob. Now, the question
yeah.
is, too, what do you do with Jacob? Now he's the U.S. champion. He's still in that version of the second 2.0 version of the bloodline. Now I can see some kind of back and forth with I'm the one with the
Solo,
belt, I'm the one leading. You know what I
solo.
mean? Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I see happening for Jacob now. What are your
So there
thoughts?
are, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Solo is a great built-in feud right away. Those two guys can do that. Again, you can do Carmelo Hayes. You can bring up Trick Williams. There's a lot of guys who he can. If you're gonna keep him heel, there's a lot of guys he could feud with.
Hmm.
My issue with him is similar to what they did with Dom. I think the fans aren't going to allow these guys to be heels. I
Hmm.
think the fans are going to cheer them every time they see them.
Hmm.
And these guys are going to have, and they're going to have to, and WWE's going to have to make the booking decision. Are we going to turn Jacob Fatu into a babyface? And if you,
I
and
think you can, especially if
Solo attacks him and kicks him out,
no. Well, yes, but no. Tangaloa?
Tongaloa, Tamatonga's there now. Tongaloa is the one who's hurt.
Okay, so Tangaloa. If Tangaloa comes back, you can still keep the three members of the bloodline and kick Jacob out,
Yeah.
and it'll still be a faction. Because I think the problem is they want to keep the bloodline going. So you
Okay.
keep it going long enough where Tonga can return. You keep your bloodline, and then instant feud between Solo and Jacob. That's what I think the
Okay.
key is. So for now, you have him feud with whoever else, but you start sewing in the little bit tidbits of them heading in that direction until you finally pull the trigger.
What I would do night Friday, I'd start an Aleister Black Jacob Fatu feud. I
I,
think.
I wouldn't do that because instantly you're saying Jacob's gonna go over Alistair.
Oh, I love Aleister Black. I have zero faith in them to do anything with him. Like I
You
there
flipped.
are
You flipped because we had this conversation weeks ago, and you said I don't know because when he was here in NXT, they pushed him very well. Blah blah blah.
Hunter knows how to book
Oh,
him,
okay,
but
so Hunter is here now, and he's
Hunter also knew how to book Shinsuke, and look at where Shinsuke is.
you're not wrong.
Like there are guys
Touche,
there are
sir.
there are guys who worked in the smaller venues of NXT because it was an intimate feel.
Hmm.
Alistair is one of them.
Hmm.
When he got onto main roster, and some of it is Vince, But when he got onto the main roster, the mystique of Aleister
It
Black just
doesn't
wasn't
translate.
there.
Yeah.
It didn't translate. Yeah, so I'm not sure. We'll see. Hopefully, they can book him properly, and because he is one of those guys who is very the mystique of Aleister Black. I hate to use the word supernatural
Mm-hmm.
mystique, but that's kind of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He he's gonna fall into the realm of not Bray Wyatt, but he's gonna fall into realm. He's almost like a carrying cross. Like they kind of fit the same roles
Mm-hmm.
in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully he's booked properly. Hopefully this run is better for him. Because Tony Khan didn't know what to do with him either. He had like 5 singles matches in 4 years over there. Everything was a trios match. Um,
Or they do Rusev and do another version of Monster versus Monster.
I don't want to keep seeing the same
I'm just
thing.
saying that's what they keep giving us, so you never know if that's what they
the United
continue to keep giving us.
is literally Jacob Fatu's entire United States Championship run is just going to be facing other big guys. Then you're going to get Bronson Reed back, and Bronson Reed's like, I want that. I'm like, can we stop putting these muscular 300-pound men against each other? Can we do something
No,
else?
we need all the meatiness.
All right, Biggie. All right, so we got that. Um, Trust me, guys. I know this is going to be a long one because it's 2 nights of WrestleMania. We're going to try to make it as quickly as possible because we value your time as well.
100%.
All right, so then we get Phoenix versus Chad. I'm sorry, El Grande Americano. Um,
This was a SmackDown match.
this was a SmackDown match. Well, for what they had to put together in such short notice because of the
100%.
injury to Ray on
100%.
on Friday, they had a really good match.
Yeah.
Um, I flipped. I right before the match, I said El Grande was gonna. I said I can't see Phoenix losing,
Mm-hmm.
even though El Grande Americano was my pick originally. Uh, a lot of Phoenix, a lot of Phoenix moves, a lot of very high paced, very fast paced. Chad Gable for I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say Chad Gable for as a worker. I say this every week. Can wrestle any style with anybody.
Yep.
This dude can get in the ring and just do some crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Eventually, Chad Gable, I'm sorry, Grande Americano gets the win again because he puts the metal plate in his mask again.
Yep.
And as Phoenix is going for a move off the top rope, he headbutts him out of the air
Yep.
and knocks him out completely. And then El Grande Americano gets up to the top rope and hits my favorite move of all time, the diving headbutt to get the 3 count, to get the win over Ray Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Really fun match. Again, for what they had to put together in such a short, in 24 hours notice, this was really good. Um, I don't think beating Ray Phoenix is the smart decision, but if you're going to beat a guy, at least he went out there and put on a show for people.
100%.
Like he didn't lose in losing, in
No.
my opinion.
No.
So
It was a good match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But again, this because of the length of time in which they had to put this match together, it was a SmackDown worthy match. That's all.
yeah,
But there's nothing wrong with
um,
that.
I did love, and I know people online are saying it was a little culturally insensitive, but I did love El Grande Americano's entrance with the old school Mexican filter and the mariachi band and everything else that they gave him. It was so good. The intro package to this was so good as well. When they were talking about the
Yeah.
history of luchadors, and they were showing all of the great luchadors. They're showing Rey Mysterio. They're showing all Eddie Guerrero in WCW, Psychosis, Juventud Guerrero. They're showing all of these great luchadors, and then they cut to El Grande Americano, and he starts talking, and somebody dubbed his words. They dubbed his words to make him talk in such. It was so good. It was amazing. It was so funny. So if you haven't seen it, go watch this intro package. They're doing such great work with this character.
Disrespectful.
It is absolutely. It's 100% disrespectful. That doesn't mean it's not great. The history of wrestling is disrespectful. All right. Um. Oh, we also didn't touch on beforehand, before earlier in the show, earlier in the day, and before the match, they re-announced WWE has purchased Mexican wrestling promotion AAA.
Mm-hmm.
So WWE TKO now has a partnership with TNA, and they own the number two. I think right now, I think that CMLL is still considered the number one Mexican wrestling promotion. They own the number two Mexican wrestling promotion in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to be doing a cross show between NXT and AAA for Worlds Collide same weekend as SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be really fun. We also got El Hijo del Vikingo, who's just have you ever seen him go on Twitter? He's the guy who does that crazy 600 1080 flip to the outside of the ring after hitting the second rope.
Never seen
You,
it.
you, it's a crazy spot. Well, he's like their biggest star.
Okay.
He was in the show. He also attacked El Grande Americano and came into the ring to console
Oh,
Phoenix after the
Prince,
match.
or whatever his name is. He
His
was
name
in
is
a
Vikingo.
he was in AEW for a bit.
He was in AEW
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah, yeah. I know who that is.
Yeah, yeah. So he consoled Phoenix after the match. All right. So then we got Barbie doll versus the Legend. She came out in a Barbie doll box, bro.
I'm aware. I was there.
Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship.
Mm-hmm.
This was a good match. For all of the side things that they had to do, the turns that they had to do to get to this match, this was a good match. Um, it got a little stiff at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Tiffany Stratton had her front teeth chipped.
Mm-hmm.
And do they have an on call doctor or on call dentist at all their shows? Because when she was doing her press conference, her teeth were perfect.
Yeah. And she also went onto social media, uploaded a picture of her teeth, and she said, "I'm fine, guys."
Yeah,
So
so
I don't
yeah,
know how the hell that happened.
they have a dentist in the back of these shows apparently who just works on them. It's insane. Uh, but a really fun match. Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton. Uh, one of my things I hate about this show, and I think not this show. One of the things I hate about wrestling matches sometimes, and I think Charlotte did this purposely because it's Charlotte Flair. No one can upstage Charlotte Flair.
Mm-hmm.
They're wearing clothes and gear that looks too similar to each other.
Yep.
They were both. Tiffany Stratton was wearing really nice pink and silver, tops and bottoms, and Charlotte came out looking like a peacock in pink and blue. Like it's distracting to see two, and they're both blonde, tall, athletic women. So I understand the story is Tiffany's supposed to be the next Charlotte Flair, but when you have two women wrestling or two men wrestling and they wear similar gear, it's very, very hard, especially if you're in the arena,
Mm-hmm.
to see what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of my first takeaways. Tiffany looked like $1,000,000 as always. She's a really great in ring worker. She's just the abilities for her to do some of the things that I like to call it the Dana Brooke handspring elbow to the corner, where she does the moonsaults and the hit and everything. Really great. Finish of this match saw Charlotte Flair working Tiffany's leg, trying to get the figure eight. She could not get the figure eight. Tiffany eventually hits her with an Alabama slam into the corner. And maybe Charlotte was playing a little bit of dead weight towards the end because it looked like Tiffany had to muscle her up
Yep.
for that rolling senton. But Tiffany muscled her up for a rolling senton and then dragged her into the corner and hit the prettiest moonsault ever for the 3 count to get the win. Really fun match. Like I said, these two girls, this could have been a complete cluster F because of how this story went.
Yep.
but
They pulled it together for the most
they
part.
pulled it together as professional as they could
Yep.
for this match.
Yep.
So really fun. Tiffany Stratton still your SmackDown Women's Champion. Um, Other than the main event, it possibly could have been the match of the night, considering. But it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Um, I just didn't like uh, the fact that Charlotte was even getting an opportunity. To be honest, that's
She's the
why
greatest
I
women's wrestler of all time.
understand what you feel. I honestly can't stand her, and neither could the crowd. Like they were booing throughout the entire time. Like, why are you here? We don't want you. And I share those sentiments. But no, it was a pretty good match. Solid match. I thought the girls did really well, and I'm happy that Tiffany kept the title. It
Yeah,
was
absolutely.
way too early to take it off of her, and she needed to overcome somebody like a Charlotte to really solidify her reign. So it's good.
Absolutely. She needed the big win.
Yeah, so it's good that they paired the two up, and I'm glad that because to your point, this could have gone really badly, especially with their outside relationship and how it is.
Hmm.
So I'm glad to see that both women were able to come together and put such a solid match together. So
Absolutely. And Tiffany Stratton, she's gonna go on to SmackDown. She's gonna have feuds with. There's plenty of women on SmackDown she can feud with.
yeah.
There's there's Naomi. There's Bianca on SmackDown. Um, there's Roxanne Perez, who's going to eventually make her move up to the main roster. There's plenty of women talent you can do. I mean, I know you said you wanted Jordan Grace to win the NXT championship, but you can bring up Jordan Grace. You can bring up Julia. There's plenty of NXT talent that can come up, and she can go directly into a feud.
Hmm.
So it's much better for it to be her than to have Charlotte win that title and then have to face those NXT champions. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. All right, so then we get our main event, and I'm still gonna need that clip of me saying Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman. So we get our main event, and I made this comment to you guys. I think this is one of the great WrestleMania matches of all time. These guys put on a show. As much as I think one of the three is at least a little overrated,
Hmm.
these three guys put on a show. They really wanted to solidify that each one of them are the guy. And my guy, Seth Rollins, showed out in this show in this match. He is so good in the ring.
Hmm.
For where the other twos have somewhat deficiencies in their thing, there are no holes in Seth Rollins' in ring game. He is so good. Um,
Well, he wrestles 3 times more than both of them combined, so I would hope not. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that guy is there every episode, no matter what rain, snow. It doesn't matter.
yep.
He is there. He's there all year round. So I mean, he wrestles far more than anybody else. So he needs to have no holes in his game.
So the one takeaway I did not get from this match, and maybe I was a little too inebriated to remember it. I don't think we got a lot out of Paul Heyman until the very end. I thought we could have dealt more with the story of him just, more shots of Paul Heyman looking distraught, more of him talking to the wrestlers, more of him actually, being upset and worried about how the finish was going to go.
I didn't feel that at all because every time I think it was more of they didn't do like a direct shot of him, but he was always in the background, and you can see him like because I kept watching him to see every time CM Punk hit something on Roman, every time Roman went to go hit something on CM Punk, you kept seeing him right there in the background. The camera shot would have like the two wrestlers right here, and you would see him in the very corner of the screen, emoting and so on and so forth. And then when Roman, there were a couple times where Roman was gonna hit CM Punk with something, and he would look over at Heyman and he was talking to him. That
Yeah.
came way before the end of the match, so I felt he was there throughout. I think it was probably just your inebriation.
I, I in the
I'm
over
just saying.
the course of the Bloodline saga, like over the course of the Bloodline saga, I vehemently remember Paul Heyman.
No, no. To your
Like he
point, a
wasn't
whole
as
lot more.
he
No, no,
wasn't
no.
as exaggerated with his
Yes, 100%, 100%. It wasn't as like you could argue that he was of as important as what was going on in the ring in past matches.
yeah.
Yes, it wasn't that this time. But then again, you
That's
had three superstars in the match.
yes, but the whole story of this match is Paul Heyman. Like he is the story.
They made it the story at the end. He wasn't the original story.
The reason Roman is hating Punk right now is because Heyman left Roman for Punk. The reason the favor is I want my wise man back. It literally is about Paul Heyman.
Nah, nah.
Rollins, and then okay, so
Rollins doesn't want to see him Punk here at all,
Rollins is one. Well, Rollins' thing
and
is
he blames
he
Roman for why he's
he
here.
hates them both for different reasons. He
Yes,
hates Punk for wanting to tear down the company that he loves for years,
doesn't
and
want him here.
He hates Roman
You're the
because he
reason
thinks
he's
Roman's a
here.
narcissist. Well, he also thinks Roman's a narcissist, and
I
every
get you.
time I'm gonna get a chance.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. That's the original story was all that stuff, and they just made it a Paul Heyman thing in recent weeks. But it wasn't originally about Paul Heyman. They were still going to have this match.
I think the Roman aspect of it was always about Paul Heyman, even going back to the steel cage match when he pulled Rollins out, and then he looked over and saw
From
Heyman.
Roman's perspective. But
Yes.
I'm saying you had two other superstars who that was not their
Oh no, those
motivation.
two hate each other. Those two literally just hate each other.
Yeah.
Um. All right, so we get this match, and it was a really fun match. Really, a lot of really great high spots. At one point, Seth Rollins does this really crazy dive into the fans while CM Punk is out there, and it looks like they both almost killed themselves. Um, a lot of table spots, and I called it at the end. I was like, Seth Rollins needed the win. Seth Rollins needed to be elevated to the level of Roman,
Sir, we
and
both called it. We both called that.
okay, we
The
both
only
called. We
the
said
only
Rollins.
the only thing you called was that Heyman was going to go with him.
I called
Yes,
Heyman's gonna go
we
with him.
called the victory, and
Oh
we've
yeah,
been saying for weeks that he needed the win above the other two because the other two don't
absolutely.
get hurt by a loss. They only it does nothing for them. It doesn't elevate them if they get the win. The only one that
Yeah,
absolutely needed something was Seth Rollins because he's not viewed on par with the other two.
yeah, and yeah. Now he is. He's if you're Hunter, who do you lead off Raw with tonight? Do you lead off with Heyman and Rollins, or do you lead off with Cena?
I'm leading off with Rollins and Heyman, and then
I
ending
think
the
so too.
show with Cena.
Okay, all right. So towards the end of this match, again, really great match. There were plenty of times where I thought somebody was going to tap, especially when Punk had the Anaconda Vice on. I think it was Roman,
Yeah.
and it looked like he might tap. Towards the end of this match, these guys were spamming the finisher button. They were, especially that one really great spot where Punk hits Rollins with the GTS. Roman comes out of nowhere with a spear on Punk, and as Roman's getting back up, Rollins stomps Roman, and then falls out, and all three of them are down, and that leads into what our finish was. Heyman goes and grabs a steel chair,
Yep.
and he hands the steel chair to Punk, and he goes, "Use this." And basically telling him, "Use this on Roman." And when Punk goes to do it, Heyman hits Punk with a low blow,
Hmm.
and I started losing my mind. I'm like, "Oh, he's definitely going with Rollins," because they cut to Roman and he has his weird cheesy $1 million fake veneer smile
Hmm.
on, and he's like, "I knew you were gonna love me. I knew you were gonna help me. I knew all this stuff," and it was such great cinema because Roman gets up. And while this is happening, while he's thinking Heyman is going to help him, Rollins stands up on the opposite side of the ring and positions himself Shield 2014 position. So he's facing the ramp away from Heyman and Roman.
Mm-hmm.
And Roman has a steel chair now in his hand. And he's like, I'm going to blast him. I'm going to get him. And Heyman, you can see him swantering around in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, he's going to do it. He's going to low blow him.
The moment I knew was when I looked at Seth, and Seth was looking at the monitor and then kind of looking
He's
back,
watching.
and
He
he's
was
looking
watching.
back to see
Yeah.
when his spot was coming up.
Yeah.
That's when
Mm-hmm.
I knew.
Yeah. So Heyman, as Roman's cocking the chair, Heyman hits Roman with a low blow.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd goes nuts. We're all losing our minds. And Heyman's dastardly look on his face
Mm-hmm.
is amazing. And Seth does something subtle but brilliant. Heyman walks over to Seth with the chair. And Seth doesn't look at Heyman. Seth puts his hand out to get the chair, a la Roman putting his hand out for the microphone every week.
Mm-hmm.
So Heyman hands Rollins the chair and he starts going to town on Roman and Punk. Eventually gets the curb stop on Roman and gets the 3 count. And I'm looking at a picture right now of Seth Rollins sitting in the middle of the ring with Heyman behind him. Rollins is in pipe bomb settings, and they have their ones up. They're taunting the crap out of both superstars while doing this. Rollins has been so good for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
This is the moment where he is going to truly, truly. He was hated when he was in the Authority with Triple H and he was the champion.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be nuclear levels of heat for him.
Oh
This
yeah,
is this is different
this is super different.
because, like I said before, Punk has his allegiance of fans and followers love Punk.
Yep.
Roman has his own allegiance of fans who love Roman.
Yep.
The heat he's going to get, it's going to be Dom Mysterio levels of heat tonight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they gone boo.
I need them at least once, and I need them at least once to cosplay Joker and Oswald Cobblepot. Just please once, just give me him dressed as the Penguin and Seth come out as Joker. Just give it to me once. I think that'll be hilarious.
I
Do a Halloween episode, and Roman can come out dressed as Batman. like,
I can't with you.
all
Did
right,
you
but
see? Did you see the picture I sent in the chat?
yeah, I saw.
Of
I
what?
had seen that. I had seen that yesterday.
That's
It was like
crazy. Of what Heyman's gonna look like next to Seth with
he
the
is not coming
poofy.
out dressed like that.
I know he's coming out in the suit, but how amazing would that be if he just came out with something so flamboyant and so
Mhm.
extra? That would be amazing.
So yeah, that's the end of night one. And before we even end night one, the promo package going into the match and the CM Punk promo package when they're
Hmm.
transitioning between it, beautifully done.
Hmm.
Both of them. They
It was
start
like
the
those
CM.
classic promos
Yeah,
that they
it was.
used to do. Yep.
They started Punk's promo package with his old music, "This Fire Burns," and then it just transitioned from young Punk to old Punk and just saying the same thing, and it was just beautiful. All right, so that was the end of night one. Overall, night one, I said it was a 7 out of 10. Rollins obviously was the number one takeaway from night one.
Hmm.
Um, Everything else felt like filler to get there, in my opinion.
It was a great match. It was a great way to end the night. Shocking, even though for weeks we've been hearing the rumblings of Heyman going with Seth.
I
The only
didn't
thing that made me pissed off was I harkened back to the fact that Cole mentioned it on
during a
broadcast
is a it was
during a commercial where only the international audience heard it, but it's still the fact that
uh-huh.
he said it. He should have never said it, to your point, and put it
Yep.
out into the stratosphere, because
Hmm.
that now put the seeds for everybody else to start believing that that could
Yeah.
even be a possibility. If he never says that, it would have just been online chatter, and I don't think it would have gotten as much traction as it did.
Yeah,
But because
I
he
said it.
opened his mouth.
Yeah, I said it halfway jokingly because I didn't think it was a possibility,
Hmm.
and then I started seeing other, other TikTokers, other YouTubers starting to say it. I believe Ray said it on Busted Open shortly after we went on, and I said it, and it started to gain traction.
Hmm.
Right? It's great that wrestling fans are smart and they can do this, but it's also not great if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We lose some sort of surprise sometimes when we're overly analyzing the show. To Triple H's point, sometimes just be a fan.
yeah.
Like, we're doing this because we love wrestling, and I have always wanted to do a podcast, and I love analyzing because I like thinking about things too far deeply sometimes. But if you're a, if you're a wrestling fan and you love WB, that was a great moment.
Yep.
That was a great moment. A top five WrestleMania match with one. It's Austin McMahon WrestleMania 17 levels of
So
turning heel.
one of the comments on our TikToks, the guy said that last night one was the worst WrestleMania he's ever watched.
Oh, I saw that, and I
Yeah,
wanted to slap him through
yeah.
the thing.
So I responded. I told him. I said, I don't know what show you were watching, but it
It
definitely
wasn't a
wasn't.
bad WrestleMania.
No,
It
it
wasn't a
definitely
bad
wasn't.
WrestleMania.
He was saying it was better in the 70s and 80s, which I'm thinking you're automatically just
First of
showing your
all, the
age.
first WrestleMania 1 was 1985. So
I
he
get
said
you.
70s and 80s, which makes no sense.
I'm saying
He said
not
he said
WrestleMania, wrestling
wrestling was yeah.
better.
So he's a 50 or 60-year-old man, and don't get me wrong, I love the NWA era. I love going back and watching Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA and all of these guys, Ivan Koloff and all of those. I love that era of wrestling, but you cannot tell me that
Just
the WrestleMania era
yeah.
isn't better than the NWA Jim Crockett promotion 1980s
Well,
era.
that's what I was gonna say. I was like, presentation alone, it's better. Athleticism is better. Like, there's no way that you can't say that wrestling is better. There's way more stories being told now because of the way that they tell the stories. Back then, it used to be pretty much all in ring. And then you would have some promos in the back where you just have an interviewer talking
Every
to them. Now
every
you have
That's how the promos were
vignettes.
done.
That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Now you have vignettes. You have things that happen in the back. You have people getting jumped in the back for no reason. You have street brawls going on in the back. You have all these different ways that they're telling stories. It's way better now. But then he doubles back and then he says, "No, it really was the worst thing ever." And then I just responded to end it. I was just like, "Well, I hope night 2 gets a better reception from you."
WrestleMania 9. Peacock has a documentary right now on WrestleMania 9, the last time they were in Vegas. That is widely regarded as the worst WrestleMania of all time.
Mm,
There have been worse WrestleMania, not the one at the COVID, not the one in COVID, the one right before COVID. No, the one right after COVID. WrestleMania 37 was terrible. That's the one that they were in Tampa with a half-filled crowd.
mm.
That was horrendous. Like there have been worse WrestleManias than night one of this year. And like that's just a bad take.
Yeah, 100%. I just wanted to mention
Okay.
it.
So we get into night two of WrestleMania, and we have Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. I don't think she goes by Helmsley anymore, but Stephanie McMahon is in the ring, welcoming us to night two of WrestleMania, the same way her husband did night one. And she kicks it off to another video package, a little bit different from night one's, a little bit not as long as
Hmm.
not as long. Night two is definitely shorter, still effective, and we get in what my opinion might have been the match of the weekend. Uh, Io Bianca and Rhea kicking off the show, and the entrances alone. Io comes out first. She gets her normal WrestleMania entrance, nothing special. The champion out first. Then Bianca comes out, and wrestling fans are disrespectful. And I say that because Bianca, as always, she's hyping up, community, black community. You got people doing double dutch. You got people doing all these things, dancing on the top of the stage. You have Montez's daughter, her stepdaughter, front and center in the middle, dressed in all gold. Um, and when Bianca comes on, she hugs her. When Bianca hugs her, the boos that came down from this crowd when she's hugging her stepdaughter at WrestleMania were insane. And I know that she's starting to get into this territory of LOL Bianca wins, and people are getting tired of her sometimes. But she's such an amazing worker. She's such an amazing talent. She never disappoints. Um, Wrestling fans are disrespectful. I'm sorry. Bianca is one of my favorites.
Hmm.
So she comes out to the ring looking like $1,000,000, gold, rose bushes everywhere. Um, and then we get Rhea coming out, and a little bit more subdued Rhea this time. Not as nobody playing her out with her music. Um, we called it. She was dressed as the Bat Who Laughs Joker inspiration, with the skull headdress and the red lipstick this time around instead of the black that we traditionally get from her. These three women put on a show. It was 20-ish minutes of just fast paced, non-stop action.
Yep.
EO, I don't know what she was on, but she took some Shawn Michaels, Dolph Ziggler
She was
levels of
selling.
selling.
She was
Like she
selling.
there was one spot where she goes for her moonsault and Rhea gets her feet up and then she backs up into Bianca who then hits her with the KOD. Like her selling in this match was amazing. Um just go if you haven't watched WrestleMania Night 2, this is the match of the weekend. This is I can't even describe some of the things that they did. The spot where EO hits them both with hits a Rio with a drop kick and then starts going crazy in the middle of the ring like a chipmunk for like 10, 15 seconds. And then Bianca comes out of nowhere and shoulder blocks the crap out of her. like, the, go watch this match. It was amazing. Uh, the finish ends with Bianca. I think we all thought Bianca, I thought for a split second Bianca was going to win. Bianca hitting a KOD on Rhea Ripley, and Io had been perched on the top rope and she tried to do a move, but she hit her head on the little stanchion that set that the LED thing that covers up the ring post that says WrestleMania. She hit her head on that, and then so she's up there like selling. And as the three count is coming down, Bianca looks up, and you see Io Sky come out of nowhere with one of the most beautiful moonsaults you'll ever see, land directly on top of them, and get the three count and pinning Bianca. Io gets the win. Amazing match. She gets elevated, same way Seth needed to be elevated to Punk and Roman's level by winning and beating these two women. Io gets elevated to one of the top women in the company, the top three. She's on their level now. Um, Great moment, great match, just match of the weekend for me. There's not enough glowing things I could say about this match.
Hmm. I liked everything. I felt that we both felt like for weeks that EO needed to win this, um, because she's the only one that. First off, she's just like they were portraying in kayfabe, that she wasn't respected and seen as one of the top women in the company. In real life, she's not viewed that way, at least up until this point. Like everybody knows that in ring, she's one of the best, if not the best in ring worker that they have, but she hasn't been propelled like that in the
Mm-hmm.
show. And by doing so and by letting her win and get over on these two women, especially Bianca getting the pin on her, it elevates her to a stardom that we haven't seen yet. So I'm very curious to see what they do with her going forward, what feuds they give her. But right now she's getting the push that she rightly deserves. Now my only thing is Damage Control over?
So the answer to that is yes and no. She's technically still a member of Damage Control, but because the other one just keeps getting hurt constantly,
Which one, Dakota?
Dakota Kai, because Dakota Kai keeps getting hurt all the time, and Kyrie Sane is actually hurt. She's been the only one around. So
Copy.
technically, they're still a group.
Okay.
Kyrie should be coming back soon. If you haven't seen pictures of Kyrie, she put on a lot of muscle. Like she looks really good. She put on a lot of muscle while she's been out. Hopefully, Dakota will be back soon. Um,
I was just
I don't
curious. That just
no
I know that threw us off, but I was just
no
curious
I
because I haven't seen them together. And right
because they
now,
both got hurt.
okay, But either way, she's getting what she deserves, and we both said Rhea did not need this win. We
No,
did not want to see her as champion. Have her go do something. And we love Rhea. Don't get us wrong. We love Rhea, and we want to see her do great things. But we just didn't want to see the belt on her. We wanted,
not again.
yeah, not right now. Let her feud with a few more people. And again, we said it before. We liked where they were heading with the character, where she was kind of getting psychotic and losing her mind a little bit,
Mm,
and then they kind of strayed away from that. So maybe now that she lost, maybe they can
mm,
get back into that and start exploring that version of the character. As far as
yeah.
Bianca, I frankly don't care what they do with her. I just don't want her in the title picture. I mean that with all due respect. I mean that with all due
Holy
respect.
crap!
I
That did
don't.
not come off that way.
what what I'm saying, because I love her. I love her,
That's
but
not
I
even at
don't.
all how
Hold
it
on.
came off.
I love her, but I'm tired of. She's another. It's between her and Charlotte. Every 2 seconds they got the belt, and I'm tired of seeing it. They're both amazing workers. They both do great in ring work. I love their characters, but enough is enough. We need to let other people shine. We can't just keep putting the belt on them for somebody else to beat them for them to get the belt again. Like, I'm tired of it. So I need something new from Bianca. I would love to see, as we were discussing before, love to see her either feud with Naomi now that that
Mhm,
feud is concluded, even though it shouldn't be, or have her be in that trifecta between her and Jade, for the fact that
mhm.
like how they played on it on SmackDown, the way like she was caught in the middle. Do that story. That would be
Yeah,
compelling storytelling. Her going for the belt, not so compelling. We just needed her to get beat. That's why she was here. We needed her to get beat so that we could elevate Io. Now that that's accomplished, let's do something of substance with her. That's all I'm saying. I love the girl, but I just don't need her in the title picture right now. I
I
don't.
honestly don't care what they do with Bianca, is what you said. All right, we're gonna turn that into a TikTok, and I'm gonna be like, "What?" Um, yeah, no, her Bianca Naomi should be the way they go. To go just to harping back on Io, this is the second WrestleMania in a row where Io Sky has put on a show because last year she had that match with Bailey when Bailey was kicked out of Damage Control, and they had a phenomenal match then. So Io's been doing great work for a long time. So it's great to see her finally get this win because last year she put Bailey over.
Mhm,
This year she went in as champion last year. She lost it to Bailey. This year she went in as champion. She retained it over these two women. They're elevating her to a level. And I've said this before: women are men. I say the same thing about Oscar sometimes. Women are men. I'll put her in ring ability with anybody on the roster.
mhm,
She's that good.
mhm.
So then from there on, the night's downhill. No, that's so much. The first, no, the first four matches, really good because this is a match I did not care about, and it was a whole lot of fun. And that is Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, two big guys in a Sin City street fight, doing just all types of crazy big guy stuff to each other. We got a choke slam through a table. We got Priest getting pushed through two tables. We got a Claymore kick in the corner while Priest's head is pinned up against a chair. Uh, this match was a whole lot of fun. It had no business being as good as it was.
Going into WrestleMania, I don't think anyone cared about this match, like at all. I think when we talked about it, everybody kept saying the same things. Like, why is this on the card? This can easily
Mm-hmm.
be a SmackDown or Raw match. This
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need to be on the PLE. And I agree with those sentiments. And then they put on a banger.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely put on a banger. They put it all out there. The thing that sticks to me the most about this match is everything that happened in the Discord, which was the guys arguing, why is this a street fight?
We were
and,
having an argument about a street fight versus a Falls Count Anywhere match. And
and
I
they
was
were
trying
just
to
like,
explain to them,
if this is a street fight, how come they can't go to the street? And how come they can't go through the crowd? And that's the most I'm replaying and I'm watching the match, and as I'm watching the match and they're putting on this show and they're going all out there and doing the most, all I can keep hearing is what? Why can't this be a thing? Why are they doing that? That don't make no sense. I'm just like, yo. And I'm seeing you struggling, and you're like, no, that's what a false count anywhere is. It has to end in the ring because blah 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 blah. And it was just like a back and forth, and that's honestly what I remember the most about that
And then
match.
Tommy goes, "Why does it have to be in the middle of the ring? Why can't he do it in the corner?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Will you shut the hell up right now? Like, I'm not doing this with you." He's a troll. He's a troll. I was like, "No, come, no. Street fight, falls coming anywhere. They're different matches." Anyways, Damian Priest gets the win. No, sorry, Damian Priest gets the loss. Drew McIntyre won this match.
Yeah, I was
You got
gonna
me all.
say.
You got me all confuzzled. Um,
Originally, that's who we picked.
we
That's
picked
the
Priest to get
yeah
the win. So going into this, we didn't pick this during our WrestleMania main predictions because it was not announced at the time.
yeah.
Going into the match, we said Priest should get this win.
Mm-hmm.
In your point, you said why is this on Mania? They actually had a good promo leading into the match where Drew is explaining why he needs to get this win over Damian Priest because this all started last year at WrestleMania when Drew beat Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship. And because he was so obsessed with CM Punk, Priest was able to take advantage of his obsession and cash in the Money in the Bank to take the title off of Drew.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they had the match and I think it was in Paris, Clash at the Castle, that's the one where Punk pretended to be the referee and slid in. Priest was the beneficiary on that one as well. Then when they went to the Royal Rumble, Priest was the one who eliminated Drew. Then when they had the Elimination Chamber match, Priest was the one who eliminated Drew.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a 12-month saga of every time Drew thinks he's deserving of something, Damian Priest was the one who either took it from him or was the beneficiary of his bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
They did tie it together with that promo package moving in.
Mm-hmm.
So so it was so that's why it's a mania. So I do like the fact that even if it's a feud we didn't really care for,
Mm-hmm.
it's still a feud that they put 12 months of time into
Yep.
to get us there.
Well, either way, the end result was banger. So
Yeah, end
who
result was banger.
cares? Who
So
cares?
the
At
end
the end of the
result,
day, if they give us a good match, I don't care what it is. I don't care how much was put into it. It's about, again, am I entertained?
yeah. So end of the match sees. So earlier in the match, Damian Priest had set up. Nope, Drew McIntyre had set up two tables on the outside of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, David. Drew McIntyre set up two tables on the outside of the ring. He eventually pushes Damian Priest through those two tables. He gets him up. He positions him in the corner, almost like where Priest's lower half of his body is on the ring apron, and he's trying to get into the ring, but he couldn't quite make it. A steel chair was set up in the corner, propped up. Claymore head chair corner,
Head chair corner.
and head chair corner,
Head chair
and
corner.
that's the sound it made was crazy. So Drew McIntyre gets the win. He's one of my favorites. I think he's a guy who, 3-time world champion. Even if one of his reigns was only 5 minutes long, 3-time world champion. He should be always perennially, if not in the main event, doing something. Because you could put him with anybody, and he's going to make it entertaining and good. He's kind of like the unsung hero of this last year when you consider his feud with Punk and his feud with Rollins going into Mania. He just always good. So we did that. And then we get the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get a babyface turn at the end of this match? Because apparently him sprinting back to the ring was unscripted.
100% that was unscripted. Everybody was shocked that he did it, and he was just like, "No, I'm gonna have my WrestleMania moment." 100%.
So
It's hard
yeah.
to say because they can go either way. That's the thing about Dom. It's like he has so much heat, but like it's turning into heat love, like Latino heat, essentially,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Where it's like the crowd hates but loves him every time he's on the screen.
Well,
So
you know what I've always said, like even when they booed him and didn't let him talk, that wasn't because they hated him.
yeah,
They
it's
were having fun with it.
yeah, 100%. So that's the thing. They can either continue him in the Judgment Day and go that route, or they can, like we want them to, blow it up, have him do his own thing. He can be the baby face. But the only issue is he's still with what's her face?
Carlito, I'll live.
With Liv. So does that mean she turns face? I don't think so. So what happens there? Does
Yeah,
now the fact that he technically took out, like, it just doesn't make sense for the character. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
I
for
got you.
Liv to now suddenly turn on Dom because he beat Finn in the match.
Oh no, she's not going to turn on Dom because she beat Finn in the match. She's going to be the one picking
Happy
on
as
Finn.
hell. Exactly.
She's
So how do you turn him face realistically? I think
yeah,
what's more likely is now him and Finn got problems.
yeah.
And hopefully
So
that's the breakup. But more than likely they're just going to draw it out even more. I feel like they're
yeah,
just going to draw it out and that's the way to go, but I would like for him to just officially leave and just start that feud right off rip.
yeah. So this is a really fun match, really good match.
Hold up, and did you peep Carlito really didn't help anybody but Dom.
Yes, he did not help anybody but Dom, and I saw this when we were watching it. His gear under his shirt said Mysterio, like his trunks said Mysterio.
Did it?
Yeah, he was. So I was like, oh, okay. So
So that's where his loyalty
his
lies.
his loyalty is with Dom. So really fun match. Um, all four of these guys, we knew this match was going to be a banger. All four of these guys were really good in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of the match, I mean, Penta is really great. He came out looking like Reptile from Mortal Kombat. Okay. Uh,
You're such a
I
hater.
just, it's a box of gimmicks. It's the mask. It's the gloves. It's the sash. It's the face paint. It's the, I'm putting my tongue out. It's that I walk like this. I got to take 7 minutes to get to the ring because I want to set up Miedo high five all the kids in the crowd, like I
It's his first WrestleMania. You can't
he is
tell me that
over.
if you were a superstar right now and this is your first WrestleMania, you're not going to take in that moment.
I would ask them for the WrestleMania 3 mini rings that brought Andre the Giant to the ring for my entrance.
You lazy bastard.
Just let me get one of those. It's just like absolutely. You see how long that ramp is?
Yes, for no
You see how
reason.
long it took Travis Scott to get to the ring?
Yeah, but he was also he was going super slow. He didn't care about nothing. He was probably too high to walk any faster. In their defense, you know what I mean? Like that's
I
different.
made the joke. I made the joke that while Penta was walking to the ring, I was gonna go drop a deuce. like, like that's how long he took. I think he legit took 6 minutes to get the ring. I'm not even joking.
Which is
So,
fine. He had to eat up match time.
it, so he gets into the ring. Then we get Dominic Mysterio, and again we call this Dom Mysterio, Finn not coming out together as a team.
Yep.
They're coming out as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So Dom gets into the ring, Finn gets into the ring, and then
They were working
Scott Steiner,
together for the most part, for the
Scott
whole
Steiner,
beginning.
Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner, Braun Breaker comes out because he looked like a Steiner so much last night. Comes out to the ring, and they had a really good match. I'm just gonna call him Scott. Braun Breaker. Every time I see this kid move, it's incredible how much speed he gets, how athletic he is. As to your point, Dom and Finn were working together for a little bit until Dom saw Finn with his back to him and said he's set up for a 619. And Dom gets the drop kick and he goes for the 619 and Finn catches him and he holds him up by 1 foot and he goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And he knocks him down and he starts stomping a mud hole into Dominic Mysterio. At that point in the match, you started to see babyface Dom come out because he was wrestling more luchador style from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
He was not wrestling like a heel.
But I would
He was
argue that Finn came out as the babyface because Finn was just working with Dominic up until Dominic did the heel thing
oh yeah, absolutely,
and turned on Finn. So that's why I would
absolutely.
argue that after coming out of this, Finn should be the babyface.
I agree. I just don't think the fans are going to allow it.
I don't think
I
so
think that,
either. But again, how do you fix that? Because you're not going to turn the entire Judgment Day face.
no, you're not. That would make no sense. Um, so the end of the match sees Penta and Penta and Finn, actually all of them, but oh, I'm not gonna just jump to the end of the match. Braun Breaker's spear on Carlito
Mm-hmm.
from one announce desk to the other. Bro, Michael Cole yelled out, Carlito's dead.
Yeah, yeah.
He jumped, he ran across the Spanish announce desk and hit a spear and broke those new Netflix tables, which had not been broken previously. Incredible. Carlito sold it like $1,000,000. I legitimately thought Braun hurt himself because when he got out of it, he looked like he was
His arm, his elbow.
arm. His like he had fractured something.
Even the way he was raising his arm, it looked
Yeah,
different.
yeah, he looked like he had fractured something last night. Um, really great match. He gets into the ring. Finn hits him with the catapult drop kick, shotgun drop kick into the corner. Hits him with the coup de grace. Goes for a pin count, and we called it. As soon as he went for the pin count, we were going to get a flying Mexican. So when we did, we got Dominic Mysterio out of the other corner to hit, and I said yes, use your daddy's finishing moves. He hits the Eddie Guerrero frog splash on Finn Balor and gets the pinfall, the 3 count. And we have a new intercontinental champion. His name forever shall be known as El greatest luchador of all time, Daddy Dominic Mysterio. He is, don't shake your head at me. Dominic Mysterio's, and then as he's walking up the ramp, Finn's not even really upset yet.
Mm-hmm.
Finn, he's holding the title and he's walking out, and Finn's just looking at him like
Yeah.
angry. And then Dom just sprints back to the ring. Unscripted. This had to be unscripted because he was getting cheered by the crowd. I don't think anybody thought that the crowd was going to cheer him when he won this title.
Yep.
He was getting cheered by the crowd, and he sprinted back to the ring and hit the corner and celebrated just like a babyface should.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I think we saw the babyface turn with Dominic Mysterio. But like I said, to your point, it makes no sense because of his allegiances to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're going to start to see that slow turn of Dom moving forward. And he has his second major WWE championship.
First major championship.
NXT North American title counts.
It's not canon.
Okay. So then we got our surprise of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Not a great match, but a great WrestleMania moment.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Orton comes out to the ring. Randy Orton talks about 20 years of WrestleMania. Randy Orton talks about who's going to be his opponent. And they cut to the ramp and they cut to the doors and they're opening up.
Okay,
And you just,
but can we point out the fact that I called this one?
you did. You
Okay.
did call Joe Hendry. I will
Okay.
say this. This was a you call.
Okay, thank you.
Because I was expecting Rusev.
Because you were
And
expecting Rusev, but you also just kept saying when I brought up the possibility of Joe Hendry, you just felt that the crowd, the casual
I
fans
felt
aren't gonna really know who he is, so he wasn't gonna get a pop. But to your point, he came out and he didn't get as big as a pop as he would have
Mhm.
in a normal arena. Because
Correct.
a lot of them, to your point, I feel like you were right on the head when you said a lot of those fans are like executives, people who were gifted,
A
tickets,
WrestleMania
or people
a
who were just
WrestleMania
there for
crowd
the,
is different.
yeah, because it's just a bunch of people like, or people you invited, or people that just
Mhm.
happened to get tickets, or whatever the case may be. So it wasn't necessarily the most biggest of loyal fans to wrestling.
Yeah.
So a lot of them didn't know. So even when they did the wave side to side, you saw like sections
Yeah.
of waving, but you didn't see the entire crowd. So your logic was there, but they
Mhm.
just pulled the trigger anyway.
Yeah.
And I thought
And this is,
it was a great moment for wrestling because,
oh, absolutely.
and I told you last night because again, this was never a possibility just a few
Under
years
Vince.
ago.
No.
This was never a possibility to have a TNA world champion on WrestleMania. Like,
Hmm.
we would have never seen this under Vince. This is a
Absolutely
once
not.
in a lifetime thing that we were a part of. This
Yep.
was a moment.
So yeah, so they pan to the thing, and you see this guy standing there, back to the camera, and I knew it right away. I saw the strap, I saw the blonde hair, and I popped. I was like, Joe Hendry, and you guys are like, no, I'm like, and then say his name, and he appears, and he does his turn, and it's just like there was a pop, but to your point, like I was saying, if this were a smaller venue, if it had
It
15,
would have
twenty
been
thousand
crazy.
people,
It would have been
the
crazy.
pop would have been nuts.
Yep.
But he gets in the match. They only gave them 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and I'm not upset about them only giving them 5 minutes. Everything else got a lot of time. This wasn't about the match, Joe Hendry versus Randy Orton. This is about the moment,
Yep.
and this is about really again on the weekend that they bought AAA. This is about Triple H saying, "I'm not my father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
I respect all of the wrestling in the world.
Yep.
I respect the promotions everywhere. We have a partnership with this company now, with TNA. We've featured Joe Hendry on NXT before. We featured him at the Royal Rumble this year.
Jordan Grace before she signed.
Jordan Grace before she signed. She was at the Royal Rumble last year in Florida, which I had attended.
Moose.
Moose on NXT this year. Like they had, but this is the first time they've put a TNA wrestler on a pay per view and on their big on well not a pay per view on a WrestleMania, and this is huge for everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they let Joe Hendry get some of his stuff in.
Yep.
He, but the moment of the match, he hits that he hits that power slam, that spinning power slam he does, and then he hits his turn, his spin, his meme spin that everybody loves, and they framed it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
They zoomed in on Joe Hendry's face, and all of a sudden you see Randy Orton out of nowhere come and hit him with an RKO to get the pinfall.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing moment, amazing match.
Hilarious.
Hilarious. It was hilarious. And here's the things like Joe Hendry's the world heavyweight champion, right? And TNA. He's
Mm-hmm.
a world heavyweight champion. He is a comedy wrestler.
Yeah.
It's not like he is. That's what he is.
Yeah.
So for him to show up also to WrestleMania and say, I have no problem doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too big as a champion here that I can't put Randy Orton over and I can't
And it's
be
Randy
comedy
Orton.
and it's Randy Orton and it's a comedy spot on Mania. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
And then Orton picks him back up and hits him with another RKO and taps him on the chest and does the Joe Hendry spin and hits the Randy Orton thing. Randy was just out there having a whole lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
This was really fun. This was a really great moment. Uh, besides, that might have been the last good thing about the entire show
Mm.
because we go into AJ Styles and Logan Paul.
I was gonna say agree to disagree, but we'll get to where I say it
you
picked back up. But continue. Go ahead. I got you.
okay? There was one other match that was good.
I
Okay.
got you.
So then we go into AJ Styles and Logan Paul.
This was a terrible match.
Bro, AJ is one of the great workers in the history of wrestling. Logan Paul is one of the really good workers for a celebrity to come into wrestling with no prior training and to come in and be this good.
Mm-hmm.
Why was this entire match about getting the drone spots? It literally felt like Logan Paul was just out here playing with a remote control while wrestling. Like, it didn't make any sense. Or your only thing coming out of this match was how do we get AJ Styles to really feud with Karrion Kross?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul gets the win, and then you just start continuing the feud with AJ Styles and Karrion Kross. And by the way,
Well,
I
building because
building
you built you sent that
yeah.
clip where he was getting interviewed and he was just going off on AJ and
Oh
how
yeah, it's amazing.
basically it's his fault that now it's like I wasted my entire lifetime being a
Mhm.
wrestler when I could have been a YouTuber and making more money. And AJ, if he would have just gotten out of his way, he's like, I'm pissed off. I'm really pissed off. And he just went off. The
He
funny
goes
thing
off.
is I saw a clip of before the match.
Mhm.
Peter Rosenberg was interviewing on the red carpet, and
Mm-hmm.
he bumped into Karrion Cross, and apparently he ran into AJ, and they had a whole thing back and forth then too, and he goes off on AJ. So he was all night selling the fact that
Mm-hmm.
AJ and him have a problem. So that's 100% where they're going with this.
Yeah.
100%, um, which I think is great. My only thing is the fact that we had to have AJ lose this match in order for that to be a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. And I know how you personally feel about Logan Paul, but he is a good wrestler. He went out there and another solid enough match.
I
It
won't
wasn't
say
in
that.
need. It didn't need to be a WrestleMania match,
Uh
but
huh.
it was another solid enough match where Logan Paul showed what that he's actually really good.
Mm,
Logan Paul gets
okay.
the win. Okay, stop hating. Logan Paul gets the win over AJ Styles, and I hate to say it. What if we get Logan Paul versus Jey Uso?
I can see that as a possibility. I wouldn't be
Mhm.
I don't think that would be terrible because he went up against Roman for the title. Why wouldn't
Yeah,
he go after Jay? He
he
probably,
also
if
went up
anything,
against Cody. Yeah,
huh?
he also went up against Cody for the title.
No, I'm not talking about that. I just meant in terms of the
Oh
bloodline.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he went against Roman for the title. He didn't win it, but in his mind, he's probably like, okay, I didn't beat Roman, but I could definitely beat this guy. So I can
yeah.
see that being the mentality for him to go after that belt. He won't win it.
I agree. Not right now. He's. I think eventually he'll be a champion. I think eventually he'll be a world champion. It's
I don't doubt that, unfortunately.
yeah. So
Because they'll look
that
at it
was.
as a moment, and also they'll look at it as he will take the belt and show it off the way he did with the U.S. title. And
He's also good. He's also good. He's gonna
okay,
get better. He's. I put him in the same category as I put in Jade Cargill. People who were not of this business who wanted to come in, trained, and are still learning.
okay,
He's in the same category as Jade Cargill.
okay,
As much as he's hip.
okay.
All right. So this is one of my more disappointing not matches, but circumstances from the entire night. Why did we write Bailey off from this show? We haven't figured out why. Because you wanted Becky back, and I get it. Becky is either number two or number three in greatest women's history in the history of business. It's her and Sasha, in my opinion, after Charlotte. But you're taking your foundational piece of your women's division, somebody who's always there, somebody who's always putting other people over, and you're taking her off of the biggest show of the year. I have a real big problem with that. And I understand you want the moment of the two Irish women holding the tag team championships.
Hmm.
But you disrespected one of your great wrestlers by not putting her on the show.
Yep.
So we get the women's tag team championship match next. Liv
Let's
Morgan
also not forget this was a qualifying match just the other night that
last week, yeah.
Bailey did the most to even get them into the match. So the fact that she went through all that just for you to take her off like that, oh, I got hurt, I don't know by who, and it better not be another Naomi storyline type storyline.
You think the
I'm just
only way that
saying.
makes sense. The only way that makes sense is if you're going to say, "Oh, Becky attacked us so she can have the spot," but you're not going to turn Becky heel. They tried that once already when Vince was still there. They tried to turn it into big time Bex, and it was terrible. Like we're not turning Becky heel.
I'm just saying it better not be, because that would be stupid to recycle that story when it just happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So, but this is WWE.
The only reason I said that is because think about it. When Jade got jumped, right away everybody blamed Liv and Raquel.
Liv and Raquel.
And then now Bailey gets jumped and they're blaming Liv and
Liv and
Raquel.
Raquel.
I love the aspect of it again not being them,
But don't have it be
but
Becky.
don't have it be Becky. I would even respect it more if Lyra did it.
If Lyra did it,
If Lyra did it,
if Lyra attacked Bailey so that way she could team with her mentor, okay, I that's a better booking decision.
and it
Did
would
you
be
see what?
intriguing.
Did you see what Mercedes tweeted?
No.
just in emojis, and then at Bailey, just in emojis. Hey, call me, dollar signs.
Wow.
Yeah, because essentially Hunter did to Bailey what Vince did to her and Naomi. When they were tag champions, the reason they walked out is because they wanted to elevate that tag division. And Vince was like, no, we're not elevating the tag division. You guys are going to be in a singles gauntlet match right now. So they were like, no, screw this. We're walking out.
Hmm.
So Sasha's like, Mercedes is over here like, hey, I got you.
I don't want to see that, to be honest.
I don't want Bailey to go into AEW. As much as Mercedes is doing good work in AEW, I don't want I don't want Bailey
Mm-mm.
going
No.
there. So we got Liv and Raquel versus Lyra Valkyria and the returning Becky Lynch. And our original prediction was Liv and Raquel retain because we didn't need Lyra and Bailey to be tag team champions. I said right before the match, if this is Becky, there's no way these women retain these titles.
Yep.
They're not bringing Becky Lynch back and having her lose at Mania.
Nope.
So there's a really fun match. Lyra did a lot of the heavy lifting. Not Bailey. Becky looked really good,
Yep.
but she has been gone for almost a year. But Lyra did a lot of the heavy lifting in this match.
Hmm.
She's so good in the ring. As much as I don't like the gimmick, and she came out in
Full
white
bird,
and
full
gold,
full big bird looking.
which I was listening to Going in Raw, and they were praising how good they looked. By the way, don't yeah. As much as I like those guys, Steven Larson, they're really great. They were
Yeah, I was just
praising
gonna.
how
As
good
soon
they
as he said
looked.
that, I'm like, Steve Larson. No,
No,
seriously,
it
that
was it
big
was
bird looking costume. Nah, I can't. That's a
So
bad
she gave
take.
those white and gold wings for her Valkyrie wings. Lyra's so good. Bailey and Becky and Lyra get the win. So we have Becky's second championship reign, tag team championship reign, and Lyra's first. Lyra's double champion.
Hmm.
What do we do with the tag titles when your tag titles are on your intercontinental champion? Like you already have a new championship belt that she's starting to elevate because she's putting on really good matches.
Yeah,
But now you have her in the tag team.
I think it's to elevate her in the sense of there's gonna be some point where she's gonna have to defend both on one night.
They just did that with Stephanie Verker. Like,
The only problem with what you're saying is that's not canon, so it doesn't count. So it's
NXT is
okay for
canon.
them to do it. It's okay for them to do it, and they love
You don't think
repeating stuff.
Hunter
And
uh
Sean
and
are
Sean over here when they're not kissing each other are writing are over here sitting down figuring out how to how to write their stories together.
yes,
They're
hundred
just
percent.
stealing from each other.
I don't know if you peeped, not to get off sidetrack, but it's still technically on par with what you're talking about. There's a documentary coming out of this past year, 2025, how they're booking everything.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That'd be interesting.
I forgot the name of it. I just saw a clip of it, the trailer for it. It's coming out on Netflix.
Oh,
And
nice.
he's like, "This year, 2025 is gonna be the year." And then he's talking to Jay Uso. He's like, "We're gonna push you all the way to the stars." Blah, blah, blah. And then you see Uso and all that. So it's gonna be really good because they want to give us the behind the curtains
Yeah.
of how they
Yeah,
booked everything. They do
they
really good
do
stuff when they do stuff like that.
yeah. And if that's your thing, like I said, that's my thing because I love watching that stuff. That's not your thing and you just want to watch the on-screen stories and the kayfabe stuff, all good too. Enjoy wrestling, but I love those documentary style things. Um, the end of this match sees Becky trying to hit the disarmer on Liv. Liv trying to do everything to get to to get past it. Becky eventually hits the manhandle slam to get the 3 count, pins Liv, and it's also fitting because Liv was the person who took the Women's World Championship off of Becky last year before before Becky went on her hiatus and before we really started the Liv Rhea feud again for the second or third time. I forget which. I think the Becky thing was like in the middle of the Liv Rhea thing.
Mm.
Um, so it was a really good. Yeah, but it was a good match. It was a really good match. I just don't like that they took Bailey off, and because they took Bailey off, it takes me away from it takes me away from really enjoying it.
Hmm. I agree, and anything that showcases Raquel Rodriguez, I'm here for.
She's doing great work.
She's doing amazing work.
I'm not gonna hate on her. She's doing really good work.
Yep.
Um, so your niece
Okay.
went on her IG
Okay.
and tweeted out, "This has got to be the worst main event I've ever seen in my life."
That's crazy.
I don't. It's not the worst I've ever seen in my life, but this match was hella boring.
I understood the beginning where Cena was going really slow.
Mm-hmm.
I understood it because it matched up with the character.
He wants to ruin wrestling for everybody, so he's making everything. And the Going on Raw guys made this point too. He wants to ruin wrestling for everybody, so he's making the match intentionally boring.
Yeah, and I get that. And Cody did his best, like trying to speed things up and so on and so forth. And that's when he came in with his offense. But for you to have it end like that, and then also that, like, the match itself is going slow, and then you decide to bring in Travis and he's walking super slow to the ring. It was just like
Mm-hmm.
that you intentionally did so much slow
Mm-hmm.
that we had nothing to do. Like, you could literally walk away, come back, and it's the same action going down. Cena,
Bro,
all he did for most of the match was stomp and knock him down. He hit
there
his
were like
moves, but most of
there
it
were
was
like
like not even.
there were like 7 axe handle slams off the second rope that Cena hit. Like, why? What are you doing? Like, like he went for the 5 moves of doom, and there was 45 seconds in between each move. Like, what are you doing? Like, you want to be the world heavyweight champion.
Mm-hmm,
You want to be the guy who breaks Ric Flair's record.
mm-hmm,
You want to be this, but you also want the fans to suffer because you think they disrespected you your entire career.
mm-hmm,
But if you want to break the record against the guy who took down Roman Reigns and the guy who's been champion for a year, wouldn't you have a little bit more urgency in what you're doing?
mm-hmm.
That, like, it didn't make sense. He comes out, so Cena comes out, no Tron, but he has his music.
Which I thought was dope.
Yeah, just black screen with white Arial font that said John Cena,
Mm-hmm,
and it's fine, cool. You're the heel, right? You're coming in, Clubber Lang style, Rocky 3, right? You're coming in, and you're not giving fans what they want. You Fans wanted the last John Cena WrestleMania moment to be a John Cena WrestleMania moment because we're not going to see this again. Even to the point where that crowd was cheering Cena and booing Cody
yep,
because they wanted to see history.
yep,
They wanted to see Cena win that 17.
yep.
But he made it so bad. And I hope this is not going to be what he does this entire heel run.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it is, I might chug a bottle of turkey during his match. Like, it just might just be like, all right, cool. Because next month, Backlash is in St. Louis. And I've been saying this. Cena won the match. He's the new champion. We're gonna go down to Cena, this the super villains of Cena route. St. Louis is Randy Orton's hometown.
Mm-hmm.
So we can get Orton Cena for the last time in Randy Orton's hometown. And you know Orton has no problems working slow.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine these two guys working that pace next month at Backlash?
No, it'll be terrible. And for this to be his last showing at WrestleMania, that's the
Yeah.
part. That's the part that hits me the most. Like, it's not even like you get to redeem yourself next year. There is no next year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
It
know.
was it was it was a bad match. It was an extremely bad match. So Cena's beating down Cody for the majority of the match. Cody eventually gets one up on Cena, and maybe because I'm not familiar with his music, but Travis Scott's music hit, and I had no idea who was coming out to the ring. I'm
Wow.
telling you, I've never listened to Travis Scott.
Yeah,
I was
but the
just
reason why that's bad isn't because you don't know Travis's music. It's the fact that they were playing that song all throughout the night.
they really were. They were playing. It's the
All throughout
WrestleMania
the night.
theme
Yeah,
song.
all throughout the night, and you still didn't know.
I still had no idea. That's where my wrestling brain is. It's just like, wait, whose entrance music is this? Who's coming out?
That's
Just,
terrible.
yeah, I had no idea.
Cody
So
didn't even get
Travis,
his receipt. That pissed me off too.
yes, he did. He hit the crossroads.
Oh, he did. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because no, what I'm hearkening to is when he went to go get him, and then he just
Yeah,
dropped down off the side of the ring.
yeah, yeah,
But he did. He did get his lick back. You're right, and I'm happy. Never mind. Thank you for fixing
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So Travis Scott takes 12 years in a day to get down to the ring. Super
What?
slow. I said he takes 12 years in a day
I heard you. I heard.
to get to get down to the ring. I'm telling you, this man. We already seen that he was smoking a blunt with Jay Uso coming down the thing the first time. This man must have had like a
He
Snoop
was
Dogg
gone.
size
He was
thing. He
gone.
was gone.
He
He
was
was
gone.
gone. So he gets to the ring and he's athletic. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm.
He popped up onto the ring on a vert, jumped over the top rope. He's athletic, and he goes to slap Cody
Mm-hmm.
after like 4 minutes of just staring at him.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to slap Cody. Cody catches him. Cody hits the crossroads on Travis Scott. Cena after, and this is why this match was so bad to me. Cody has been so good at being resilient and kicking out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And even in this match, he kicked out of an AA early in the match and an Avalanche AA during the match.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had kicked out of all this stuff. After he hit the crossroads on Travis Scott, Cena hits him. I think Cena hit him with an AA and then blasted him with the title belt to get the pinfall. I know title belts in the history of wrestling are supposed to be a knockout, an automatic knockout,
Mm-hmm.
but for Cody Rhodes to get pinned 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring after getting hit in the head with the championship belt just felt flat to me. I thought he needed to kick out at least to suspend the disbelief a little bit longer that Cody's not going to lose this title. That the ending was too abrupt. It was too quick. He needed one or two more kickouts, and then Cena really put him down for the championship. And then Cena celebrating in the middle of the ring, and it didn't even feel like they had anything really planned. He just broke the record for Ric Flair's 16-time championship reign, and there was no pop in circumstances for it.
Nope.
We didn't. We got a couple. We got some pyro, but we didn't get confetti. We didn't get balloons. We didn't get nothing. You just broke the Ric Flair's record.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get something?
You got pyro. You got something.
No. Whenever there's a new champion,
I know. I
they
understand
do
what you're saying. They
they
go
do
all
a
out.
celebration.
And while it's not within his character right now, I would have again. He's not in control of pyro and stuff like that, and you could have done the celebration, and if anything, he could have seen it and be like, "No, I'm out of here," and then left before all the
Or
confetti comes down. Or
he
whatever the case.
or he plays into it. He's like, "Oh, I'm the 17th time champion. Now I'm gonna acknowledge all of this because that's who I am.
Yeah.
Like I'm the guy now. Like you
Yeah.
can still do it and still be the
Or
heel.
that, yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Like, but we got nothing. We got him and Travis Scott standing in the middle of the ring with the WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Hardcore Championship that just has duct tape on it for some reason because it's not even the old Hardcore title that I love. Like, what are they doing? And then and I'm gonna let you take this because you're the Cena fan. Um, I feel like we're gonna have differing opinions on this.
Oh no, I agree with everything you said. I mean, they messed up in terms of the execution of the match, but I'm glad that Cena won his 17th. I'm
I
glad where they're going with the story with it. Story wise, just the match didn't hit. There's nothing wrong with what you said. I agree. He could have easily done the same thing, done more heel stuff, but still hit the strides that he normally would have, and it would have been fine. I get what they were trying to do with the in ring character wise and his move set. I get all that, but it was just so painfully slow
Uh-huh.
that it just sucked the air out of the entire arena. I felt like.
Hmm.
There's nothing wrong with what you said. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Okay.
And
So
the crappy thing is to end 2 nights of WrestleMania that way.
yeah, they really said, you know what? In arena crowd, you're gonna be upset both nights.
Yeah,
No one goes home feeling good about this.
no. But it also shows Triple H don't care. He's gonna do what he needs to do, but in a way, not like Vince not caring. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Vince didn't care in a sense that if it was so bad that all we're doing is going online and trashing it, he was okay with that because we're still watching. Triple
Yeah.
H doesn't care in the sense of if he feels that it's good story and it's
Yeah.
at the end of the day it's going to benefit us, then he's willing to take that hit for what's
Yep.
going to be the overall arc. And I
Yeah.
get that. So, and I'm appreciative of that. My only point is that in this regard, in this match, at this arena, at this event, it was not the place to not care. You should have
Yeah.
given us what we really wanted, which was an actual match.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
It was just so bad. It was just so bad. Okay, so overall, night one or night two, which did you prefer?
I think night one's main event, but overall night two the matches.
Okay. I think night two is a better show. Yeah, I agree. I agree that I think the best match is still the women's match, the triple threat.
Yeah,
The main event between Seth Punk and Roman was just that's an all-time top five WrestleMania match with an all-time top two or three WrestleMania moment. Like that, and maybe top four if you can count Seth also cashing in Money in the Bank in WrestleMania 31, because then you have Hogan WrestleMania 3, you have Austin and Vince WrestleMania 17, and then maybe Seth at 31, and then this one. So yeah, I mean it was just, and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. I just thought about that one too. But it was such a great match with that moment that I think it elevates night one.
hmm
But I agree with you. The first half of night two was so much better.
yeah.
Alrighty. What are you looking forward to for Raw after Mania tonight?
I need to see where this is going with Seth and Paul Heyman. I need to hear from Paul, and I need to know why he did it because it don't make no sense to me. In outside of kayfabe, it makes perfect sense because we want to
Yes.
elevate Seth. But I'm saying in kayfabe, I need to understand why. What is the purpose of this? Because it makes zero sense that they would align themselves, other than the fact that what Seth had said to him
That's what I
prior
was
to
going to say.
this, which
Mm-hmm.
was Roman doesn't really care about you. You're his gopher. Blah 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 blah. CM Punk really didn't care about you because all this time he could have been having your back and sought you out, and he didn't do any of that. And I get all that, but that's not enough. It wasn't enough while it was happening in real time for him to come to his senses. It's not going to be suddenly because Seth made a comment, a one-off comment, that suddenly this is enough. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. So I need to know where this is going. What is the point of all this? And then secondary would be the Cena, um, just because I more or less know where that's going in the sense of he's the 17-time champion. He wants to ruin wrestling, and he's going to take the belt away. So I don't. There's not
Until Cody gets it back.
if Cody gets it back.
Cody's gonna get it back. He's gonna go. He's gonna do the John Cena retirement tour, face all of his old people. No one's gonna be able to take it off of him. Cody will eventually be the person to take it off of him to save the championship from going away.
I'm cool with all of that. I'm just saying we don't know because, frankly, that could be the plan, and the plan can change. Somebody else can be elevated. Somebody else can come up. What if Cody gets hurt from now to then? Plenty of things can happen. I'm just saying I don't know.
Yeah,
So for now, I know more or less we're on the Cena goodbye tour. There's not much mystery there. Whereas the
yeah,
Heyman thing, it's just like out of the blue. I need to
Yeah.
know that. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Okay.
You?
I got Dominic Mysterio.
Oh,
I want Dominic. I want to see where they go with Dominic Mysterio.
okay.
You've turned him into a single star. He's a champion. I want to see if he comes out. Does he get cheered? Does he get booed? Where do they go with this Judgment Day story? Because I've always been a Finn guy, and
And then how does the
no,
Judgment Day react now? That's the other compelling part because they're gonna get booed. He's getting cheered.
Dom's the leader. Dom's got to be the leader. So it'll be the same as when Rio was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Rio was getting cheered when she was in Judgment Day,
Mm-hmm.
because no one can hate Rhea Ripley. Everybody else in that group got booed.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them. But Rhea, every time she was on screen, she was getting those pops, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have Dom kind of taking that role. Like everyone's gonna get booed in there.
And then what happened to Rhea?
What happened to Rhea?
Mm-hmm.
They kicked her out. So you think the Judgment Day is gonna kick out Dom?
I'm
I
just
don't see that.
saying. I don't see
No.
that either. I'm just saying. But what happened?
What
Because you
I
can't
think
you can't have a face in a heel faction. But again, like I said earlier, is you're not going to change the rest of the group to all of them be babyface. That's not going to
you
happen. But you
you
also,
wait
I
for
don't see them kicking Dom out, especially they're all aligned with Dom,
you.
except for Finn.
I was gonna say you wait for McDonough to get back, and then you splinter off McDonough and Finn as a tag team.
I don't
Let
want to
those
see
two go
that.
on their own.
I don't want to
I
see
know.
that.
I'm just saying it's like there's there has to be a way where they take these two and I thought that's what they were going to do with Rhea and Damien the first time, is that they were going to splinter them off into two separate groups. You were going to get Carlito and Ben and JD, and then you would have Rhea, Dom, and uh, Damien, or some version of that before the whole live thing started. But who knows? I'm really interested what they do with Dom. I'm really interested to see what they do with Braun Breaker tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's gonna be interesting to me because Braun's gonna be on the show.
We both said we believe that he should just go
Jay
after
Uso.
he should go after Jey Uso because it makes the most sense. They have history. He's beaten him. It makes the most sense. Like, you know what? I lost my title. I'm gonna go and get this title.
Like what I would do is you do the rematch with Gunther at Backlash. You still have Jay win again,
Okay.
and then you have them do a mini tournament which culminates at Backlash, and you have like Braun and Penta at the end of that do the one on one, or you have Braun and Finn or Braun and somebody at the end in Backlash, and then you setting up the next pay per view, whatever that is. Because I
Okay.
think after Backlash, it's Money in the Bank,
Hmm.
so you have to figure out who's going to be doing all that stuff for the next couple months.
Makes sense to me.
All right. Well, thank you guys. If you stayed with us through 2 hours of WrestleMania, I appreciate you. I really do. There are plenty of things in here that we're going to clip and TikTok out too, including this man saying he doesn't care about Bianca Belair. Uh, so, as always, where can they find us at, Roman?
Spotify, TikTok, iHeartRadio, and the one that you always mention but no one knows.
Castbox.
There you go. That one. Oh, and did I say YouTube? I didn't say YouTube.
You did not say YouTube. So
Yeah.
hopefully, they're watching this on YouTube.
Facts. As always, we want you guys to like, comment, subscribe, especially those comments. We love to hear from you guys. We love to have those conversations. As you heard earlier in the show, I respond. The Boy Harm responds. We let you guys know if you say something crazy in our comments, we will respond. We love that discourse because, again, wrestling is for everybody. Wrestling, this is the time. Especially now, we got AAA, part of WWE. We got partnership with TNA. It's a wonderful time to be a fan. This is the time. We want to grow this community. We appreciate you guys for everything. 2 hours, we got through it, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.